Greetings, people of the internet. Lachlan here, back with another video. Today, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I have to be the one to tell you that no media organization can ever be fully trusted, not even the one you like. Throughout its history, which spans several generations, the modern media has cultivated an image of being an entity that exposes wrongdoing and speaks truth to power. However, throughout a history that spans well over a century, there is a litany of examples wherein the media has been bought and corrupted. What's perhaps even more disturbing than this is the fact that the media is often complicit in feeding humanity's darkest desires. One of the earliest examples of this would be the legend of infamous British serial killer Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper was the name given to a serial killer active in the city of London in the year 1888. This man or woman killed several prostitutes and mutilated their bodies. Now you have to ask yourself, why do we still remember the pseudonym of a serial killer from 1888? And the answer to that is the media is responsible. The reason why Jack the Ripper still holds a place in our collective memory is that when the killer was active, the press at the time competed with one another to publish the most lurid and sensational headlines that they could. In fact, several letters that were published during the killer's time of activity are believed to have actually been written by unscrupulous journalists to sell more papers. When news organizations go into feeding frenzies of this nature, they cease to be reporters of fact and become simply the engine of humanity's dark side, feeding and promoting the worst aspects of our nature. I have personal experience with the less ethical side of the media because my first job when I graduated college was to work for a small community publication, and during my time there I covered everything from crime to fluff pieces. While working for this publication, which I will not name so that I don't get myself sued, I personally saw that if someone with money wants positive coverage, they can simply buy it. There was a constant battle between the editorial staff and the sales team as to what would be published. And because newspapers are at their core about making money, the sales team usually won out in the end. One of the duties that I most disliked having to undertake was writing what is known in the industry as an advertorial. An advertorial is basically an article that is supposed to look like a legitimate news story, but has actually been paid for by somebody who wants ad space that does not look like ad space. It gets even worse than that though. Once, when I attended a meeting with my newspaper group's general manager, he specifically told me that I should write more controversial articles and piss the readers off so that it would start a comment war in the letters section of our weekly paper. Obviously, I did not do this because in my role as a journalist, I did not see it as morally correct to shape the world around me. Journalists are supposed to simply report what they see as objectively as possible. A perfect example of how the media can negatively shape the world around us, particularly from a South African perspective, is the example of Julius Malema, current leader of extremist political party, the Economic Freedom Fighters, or EFF. A decade ago, very few people knew who Julius Malema was, because at the time he was a lesser known member of the African National Congress. However, when he became the president of the ANC Youth League and started saying inflammatory, racially divisive things, our media picked up on it and fed into his legend. So much so that he is now one of the frontrunners of South African politics and seems to believe himself untouchable under ordinary law. To be clear, I am by no means saying that you should simply give up and stick your head in the sand as it relates to the world around you. Nor am I saying that you are being lied to by every journalist you may encounter. However, what I do want to tell you is that every story you read probably isn't the full story, but rather just someone else's version of the truth. Have a great day.